All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Scene Live. This is a show where entrepreneurs come to be seen, heard, and celebrated. And I am the host, Kim Speed, a brand clarity coach and founder of Purple Moon Creative. And every week I sit down with entrepreneurs and experts who are doing the work, building businesses, navigating challenges, and showing up anyways. I believe that when entrepreneurs are truly seen, incredible things happen. So whether you're just starting out or you're deep in the build, you're in the right place. Now, let's get into today's conversation. Today, my guest she has spent more than 20 years inside some of the most recognized brands in the world. Haynes, Carter's, VF Corporation, learning how creative and operational teams actually work at the highest level. For the last 3 years, she has taken everything she learned inside those Fortune 500 walls and applied it to one of the most important shifts happening in business right now, helping organizations understand, adopt, and implement AI in a way that is strategic, ethical, and built for real growth. She has done global AI program work with Coca-Cola Studios. She sits on the global board of She Is AI. She is a LinkedIn Top 100 AI creative and an international keynote speaker and a volunteer instructor with Microsoft's AI Skills for Women program. She works at the intersection of emotional intelligence, business strategy, and AI. And she is here today to help us cut through the noise and talk about the AI adoption, what's actually working for entrepreneurs and the organizations that we're trying to build. So please help me welcome Deanna Leonard to the stage. Deanna, thank you so much for joining me. Great
Thank
to
you for
have
having
you.
me. Oh, it's a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. And boy, did you make that intro sound good. I was like, oh, who is this? This is cool. So thank you for that.
This is amazing. But I have been following you for quite some time. I've seen some of the amazing things that you've done, and I did some digging and found out you shared only a little bit with me. You've been doing a lot. So let's just talk about the origin story, your origin story. For those who may not know your story, can you take us back to the beginning? What was your journey to becoming an entrepreneur?
It's kind of an accidental journey, actually. I've been a corporate girl my whole entire life, and I've loved it, and I've been rewarded for it, and I've been granted an MBA for it. Like all kinds of really good things happen in corporate life. But what also happened in corporate life is burnout. I rose really fast and I burned out really fast. And while I held it together for a while, when my husband got sick, I knew it was time to do something a little bit different. There were some things he wanted to do, so I took a sabbatical. And we did some really cool things like ride our bicycles across Iowa over 500 miles in a week in the hot sun in the summer. It's a big event they have there once a year, which is going on right now, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, it was something else. There were, I think, 30,000 of us riding across the state. It was really something. Anyway, we managed to get through that milestone. And by the time we got back home, I'm like, okay, well, I'm bored. Now what I'm going to do?
Yeah.
How am I going to fill my time? And that's when I kind of fell into AI. That was about 4 years ago. And I just started taking one class and then another class, and mostly business and data and all the things that I was used to running at corporate. And then I stumbled into the creative side, and it just lit a fire under me. And it has been nonstop ever since. The first person that taught me creative hired me as her coach to coach her C-suite kind of folks. And it's just taken off from there.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's amazing. So you spent over 20 years inside Fortune 500s,
I did.
companies like Haynes and Carter's.
Yep.
What did that experience teach you that most entrepreneurs don't have access to? How does it shape the way that you're helping businesses with AI today?
It's really interesting because there's a lot of competition inside corporate walls. There's a lot of competition everywhere, but especially inside corporate walls, people want to make a difference, but they also want to climb the corporate ladder and they want to get things done. And while they function in teams, there's also a lot of dysfunction. So I learned a lot about how to navigate teams, how to manage teams, how to inspire teams, and how to teach and coach teams. And that's what entrepreneurs do as well. You can't come in there and steamroll everything they already know and they already do. They won't accept you. You have to listen and meet them exactly where they are and help them adopt a different way. That's probably my biggest lesson.
So that's interesting. And so I'd like to take that further into AI. And
Sure.
let's face it, I feel like there's two camps. There's people that are loving it, and then there's people that seem to fear it.
Yeah.
And the real fear out there is that AI is going to replace the human side of business, the creativity, the voice, the relationships. What do you think?
So it's a really great question. And I have this conversation all the time because it is so prevalent. When I have several clients, you mentioned a couple of them, and one of my bigger clients, when I walked in the door, I think everyone was pretty fearful I was there to take their job because they knew I was an AI expert. Although I got to tell you, I don't think anybody's an AI expert. It's changing every day. We know pieces of AI. We don't know everything. Yeah, it's hard to keep up. When someone says they're an AI expert, I kind of just go, "Are you? Which part?" Because there's so many. But anyway, I understood. I could feel the fear and even some anger going on. So I stayed pretty low key for the first month and just learned and listened. And then one day, one of the folks on the team, he said, "Would you just start coming to meetings with me and listening to like where the barriers and the blockers are, and then helping me understand where AI could break through those blockers to help them?" And that's all it took. And now the team is moving ahead of me. They're doing such a great job. They're picking up on the tools and they're understanding that it's not replacing their creativity. It's replacing that work that they don't want to do. The organization, the archiving, the day-to-day, the calendar management, the emails. It's going to replace that and do that so they can actually create, which is what they do best and what they love. So for me, it's a very different experience.
So that's really interesting because you've done AI program work globally for companies.
Yep.
And I just want to get into because I remember you talking about this on your LinkedIn about a large company that came after you because you had been talking about AI. And they found you on LinkedIn just because you showed an interest.
Yeah, it was interesting. So I'm told for one of my bigger clients that there were over 50 or 60 people interviewed, and the entire interview process was, and it was for a consulting gig, and the entire interview process was online. I never met a single person before I got the job offer. And normally in corporate, we get trained that we got to prep for the interview, we got to do the research, we got to do all the things, everything, all the notes out and ready to go. I didn't do that. I decided I was going to treat this time in corporate a little bit different. And I was going to show up as myself with the knowledge base that I have in AI, because I knew that's what they wanted, and just listen to what they had to say, what their questions were, and answer. And most of them that were on the different panels that I interviewed with were like, "Yeah, we knew in the first 5 minutes that you were the one." So my biggest advice, if you're wanting to get hired as an AI consultant, don't come in and steamroll. Don't come in and show like, "Oh, here's the latest gadget or the latest trick or the latest LLM." Listen first, find out what's going on there, and then put together a plan. I have other corporate clients that have known me for years, that I've worked together in other companies with, and that have reached out individually, C-suite folks that are like, "How are you doing this? Like, how do I even get started?" And they end up becoming clients because I listen to where they are, and then I'll do something really fun about the company they're in and send it to them. And they're like, "How did you do this? Can you show me how?" And that's how clients come on board.
And you're having fun doing it. Like you're
Oh, loving
enjoying
it.
what you do.
Love it.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I've taken in becoming, I call it AI aware because I am certainly not an expert, but I love it. And I've spent some time, I've been around a while. And so
You and me both.
it does get to a point where, I was talking to somebody the other day, like, it gets a bit boring and you're trying to find the next thing, or, is it is it the end? And what else can I do? I tell you, when AI came in, it was like sunshine and lollipops. It was so much fun. And I feel like I want to, sing from the rooftops at people
I
that
love
this is,
that.
just embrace it. And I feel like that's why I'm so excited to have you here, because I know that you love it too.
I do.
And you get to do something really cool with companies is you get to go in and find the latest thing,
Yeah,
and what
yeah.
could help them.
I have a lot of different cool roles depending on which company or which
Yeah.
person I'm working with, because I have actually two big companies that I work with, but quite a few C-suite folks, and then I run my own group, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Um, but one of the coolest roles I have is going out and identifying what are the tools that can make a difference here, and then testing them and breaking them in a sandbox, and then convincing the powers that be that this one, here's the use case, here's the case study, here's what it could save, here's what it could do. But there are
Yeah.
new tools coming out every single day, so just keeping up. And I'm not the only one doing that. There's several people where I am right now doing it. But
Which is interesting in itself, that it's become a role that people need in companies, is just to keep up with it. And um, what fun! I'm thinking
well, I was
being
recently at an Adobe offsite, and I met people with titles I'd never heard before, like
yeah,
AI creative strategist and AI creative architect and AI implementation specialist. And so there's a whole new set of roles coming to bear in these bigger and medium-sized companies that are really, really interesting, and people are having a lot of fun with. So I know that there is in the news always. I know that there's a lot of bad news and people being let go and horrific stories. Unfortunately, on the flip side, those stories don't get told. There's also a lot of hiring going on, and there's a lot of things out there that are possible.
yeah. And going into the solo entrepreneur,
Sure.
there's a lot of people that would be watching this that are solo business owners, and I think this is one of the greatest things for the solo entrepreneur. But
Right.
because AI actually is something that I think is practical for them, and it's more than just a corporate tool. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and so many people, especially solo entrepreneurs, are using it to, summarize this email when there's so much more it can do. And I'll be the first to admit that I'm not an expert at agents, but I've built quite a few and I'm learning how to orchestrate them. And as a solopreneur, that's probably one of the most powerful things you can do is learn how to do that, because you can automate so much of your day and have more free time to be with your family or to grow new business or to nurture clients. But if
Yeah,
you can learn how to build agents and orchestrate those agents to manage your calendar, to respond to emails in your voice, you can always be the double check,
yeah.
to summarize the week ahead, the month ahead, to summarize whatever trends you're looking at for your customer. There's so much it can do to make you that much more efficient.
So that sounds great. I'm on board with you there. I too, I'm not an expert at the agents, but I know the capabilities and I've done a little bit. Um, so how do people that are running their own business, what's the best way for them to get some of this knowledge?
So, great question. And I have been running my impact circle since January, so it's only 4 months old now. And it absolutely takes time, number one.
Yeah,
So, but to learn the AI tools, I've always had the philosophy since the day I discovered the first one that I am going to every week take at least one free course just
yeah,
to get exposure to see what it is that appeals to me the most, what I can make a difference with, right? I always want to make an impact. So once a week, I take one free course. Sometimes it's just a webinar for an hour. Sometimes it's a 3-part series, one free. And then once a month, I take one paid course. And I made a big commitment. I'm taking a year-long course right now, and it's all about the agent orchestration because I want to be at that level, and I'm starting to get there. I've been building some really cool things for clients that they don't understand how I'm doing it. So
yeah,
I recommend always check out the courses, and please, my big warning is don't just download any skills file from anybody that's recommended it on IG. There's so much hacking and things going on out there. Just take it from somebody reputable.
Oh, that's a really good tip. Let's just talk
Yeah,
about that a little bit.
yeah,
So it used to be that ChatGPT, it was all about custom GPTs, and now it seems like there's a influx of people moving into Claude. And so what Claude has is, instead of custom GPTs, is they have skills. Now, skills you can use in many places now,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it became a big thing in Claude. So, just explain, what do you mean by
Sure,
downloading?
sure.
Yeah.
So, and you can go into one of those LLMs and ask it the question, tell me the study about the 1 in 8 on skills files. If you say, tell me the study about 1 in 8, it's going to come back with breast cancer awareness. So that's how it associates 1 in 8, which is hilarious. Not really
Yeah.
hilarious, but interesting that it's trained on that.
Yeah.
But when you ask about 1 in 8 in skills files, it will come back with a study that was done in February of this year, where they looked at, I think, 1,800 different skills files that were being offered out on Instagram by influencers. Download this skills file and you'll be able to write better, or you'll be able to do this recipe, or you'll be able to do this or that. 1 in 8 of those had some kind of malware in there, with the most serious one being access to your bank account. It was rewriting the skill as you loaded it. So just please be careful. Where you want to download skills is from Anthropic or from OpenAI or from an instructor of a paid course that you understand who they are and what they stand for. Just don't take all the free ones that everybody's offering, because there's some dangerous stuff out there.
That is probably the number one thing I'm getting from this. You know what? Because there's lots of people
Oh, this is new.
that are making them.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know it. I was having a conversation yesterday with a gentleman who's in the AI space, and he had not heard about that study. And I'm like, oh.
No. So the study is 1 in 8.
It's 1 in 8. If you Google 1 in 8, or I'll send you the link if you want to post it to your
Yeah,
to your
I think that would be great,
followers. Yeah, I
because
can totally do that.
we all need to be aware, like security. Oh, man.
So important. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we know it was coming. I mean, it's like any
Yeah.
other digital thing, right? We just have to be careful and know what you're getting into.
Yeah. So, now you work in the intersection of emotional intelligence and AI strategy. Can you
Yeah.
explain what it means in practice, and why that matters?
Sure. And I was going to actually give you a guide for all those folks that follow you called Emotion is the New Prompt. I recently did a new keynote on that here in Atlanta. And what inspired it was the coolest thing. So I was invited to be on a friend of mine, Big Al's podcast, and he wanted me to talk about emotion because of something that happened 3-4 months ago.
Mhm.
It was the first time I was on this podcast, and I started talking about how I prompt, how I use 5 words, and how I always start and end with emotion. And I got to tell you, every gentleman on that podcast audience DM'd me and said, I never even would have thought of that. I wouldn't have
Yeah.
thought to use an emotional adjective or an emotional verb. And I didn't realize people weren't doing that. Well, since then, I see more and more people learning how to do it, structuring it around emotion so they get better output. So I'm a big believer in not just a basic ABCD structure, but what emotional evocation do you want to happen when someone sees one of your images? Like, what do you want it to prevail? So I created this
Oh,
thing
you
called
use it
Emotion is the
even
New
with
Prompt.
images.
Oh
Even
yeah.
with images.
Oh
I
yeah.
never thought of that.
Oh yeah. In fact, the majority of my images are done that way. Yeah, for sure.
Oh.
For sure.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah. So I'll be happy to send you that little guide. It's free, and it's got some great examples that people can test and start to train themselves how to prompt with emotion.
Oh, that's great. And I have seen, like, you share some great AI imagery now, and you have really you get into it and you have fun with it.
I do
It's
have fun with it.
not just like trying to replicate, stock imagery to me. Like, you get in there and you make it meaningful and fun. And
Thanks.
how did you get into that part of it?
It's a creative outlet for sure. Well, what a lot of people don't know about me is growing up, I was an artist. I got all kinds of art scholarships to different art schools in New York and California. And my dad was a union man engineer and said, oh no, you're not going to starve and live on the street. So I turned all those art things down. What AI has done for me has brought that passion back out. around art in general. So it's just been a great way to express myself. And if I want to do something where I just want to be creative now, I tend to not just pick up a paintbrush, but also pick up the computer.
Yes, and I have found similar. It's funny that you say that because when I wanted to go to art school, my mother just about had a conniption to like, no, you're going to business school, not art school.
See, there you go.
I don't want to see you living on the streets.
It was the perception back then. They had
Yeah.
no idea what was coming, right? Where we'd be today.
One other thing I really want to talk about too is you're a global leader for the association, the organization. She is AI, and I want to hear more about that and share that
Sure.
with the audience.
Sure. So I was one of the original founding members on their executive leadership team and offered a board position. I have since just recently, last month, retired. Probably should have told you that. Not because of any ill will, but because it was time for me to focus on building my business and my clients. So it was an honor and a privilege to help get them off the ground. They're doing fantastic. So that's sheisai.ai, I believe, is their final address. And they've got all kinds of things going on all over the globe with a big mission around education, especially educating women, which I'm a big proponent of as well.
Oh, yeah. I've been following them for a while too, and they have some great resources.
They do, for sure. There's a lot of good ones out
women.
there. Yeah, no, there's a lot of great resources. Founders is another one. AI Her Way is the current program that I'm in. Dr. Nikki Sweeney, she's one of the top 5 women in the world. I follow Allie K. Miller. She's the chief of staff at LinkedIn. So there's a lot of different people that I follow and participate in to help my knowledge base.
Yeah. And of course, because you're not busy enough, you volunteer with Microsoft and their AI skills for women program.
Their founders program. It's Founders with a Z. If people don't know about it, you need to go check it out. Yeah. They have such a cool organization, and they have certificates, and it's completely free. They've now, I think, added
it's free?
Most of it, I think 80% of it is free. They've just added a paid tier. But I get people all the time reaching out to me on LinkedIn and said, I just saw your course. It was so fun. I can't wait for you to do more. So I've done a couple of master classes with them, and I owe them a couple of things too. So they'll be seeing more of me too. But yeah, Founders is funded by Microsoft, and they're incredible people for sure.
So Founders
I think they've educated close to 300,000 women around the globe. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really something. Definitely need to go check it out.
Yeah, definitely. You know what? I'm going to get from you after the list of
I'll give you links, and I'll give you a whole list of things for sure.
That's great. Yeah. So I'd love to ask you, if someone was listening today and wanted to start using AI in their business this week, not someday, this week, what would you tell them to do first?
I get this question a lot too, Kim. And even here in the building I'm in today, like, where do I even start? Because so many people, especially entrepreneurs, are so busy with so many things, and they have a family to take care of and all the things. And they're like, how do I even carve out time? Where do I even start? And, toes in the water. You've got to find, if you can't do an hour a day, start with an hour a week. Carve out a lunch and learn, or I call it bites and bites, BYTES and BITES, and have lunch with your computer and just start with one program. If there's one you're really curious about, most of them have free tiers. I think OpenAI has a free tier. I think most of them have free tiers.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, just start by getting in there, asking some questions, and then get curious. And the more detailed you get, the better it gets. And it doesn't take long for you to want to say, okay, I need to go take a class at Founders, or I need to go find a free course somewhere. Canva has some great free classes as well, and they've got some great AI functionality. So just start with an hour. If you can't do an hour a week, start with a half an hour a week, because the last thing I want to see is women get left behind, and it's starting to happen, and it's troubling.
Let's just touch on that a little bit.
Sure.
And not to put the men in the community down.
I've been married for 33 years, and I adore him, and I'm not anti-men. Just for
it's just it's just who puts their hand up and is starting to get involved. The women are being left behind because they're busy doing the stuff. or that's what I get. What do you think?
So there's a lot of different studies out there, and some of the studies conflict each other depending on what the source is. So
Okay.
the first thing I would say to women is go out and do the research, ask the question, and ask for the studies and the links to see. And some of the biggest gaps that I'm seeing, initially it was a fear-based thing. Women didn't want to be seen in corporate as, oh, I'm cheating, I'm using AI, and I don't want to get caught. Well, that's moved on.
Mm.
However, I'm seeing male managers encourage males more than females to use AI. So that's an interesting statistic, and that's a study out there. From a board level perspective, in 2025, roughly between 28 and 30% of global boards were held, seats were held by women. That number is now dwindling. AI is slowing that down.
Really?
That's the problem. Now
Oh,
it's going the reverse direction for the first time in, like, I don't know, 8 or 10 years. So that's a problem as well. So if the women aren't at the table and these huge LLMs are being built that are going to basically run our worlds around us and our businesses around us over the next 10 years, we're going to be left behind because we're not sitting at the table helping them make the right decisions to be
and
inclusive
I
with them.
think between you and I is, going back to that emotional
Oh
intelligence.
yeah,
I
oh yeah.
think women have more of that to bring. Like
I believe
it's
there's some
just,
data around that as well. Yes, I agree with you.
yeah, and we
Yeah,
need more of that.
yeah,
Bringing that
especially
human
now,
touch.
for
Yeah,
sure. And most good companies that I work with don't want to replace people. They want it. They want to be tech enabled, but they want their people first. And
yeah,
I love that message, and that's the message I
yeah,
continue to carry forward. Just because you're learning AI doesn't mean you're AI first. It means AI is the tool to help you get your voice out there.
yeah. This has been such a great conversation,
Oh, thanks.
and so much more that I would love to ask. But I want to know what's next for you. Where's your journey taking you?
I saw that question on your hit sheet. I'm like, I'm not even sure how to answer that because it changes every day. So I don't know. The answer might be we'll just have to wait and see, but I know that I'm going to continue to build my consultancy. I know I'm going to continue to work with fantastic founding women like the women I work with right now. We have about 25 of us now, I think, inside of the Impact Circle, and they're building
Wow.
amazing things and they're helping each other and they're growing. And one of my gifts is I'm a really great networker, and I've networked these women to some really incredible people, and they're taking off, and it's really cool. So I know I'm going to continue to grow that in some way, shape, or form, and I'm super grateful to and definitely admire those women that are in Impact Circle. So that's definite. And then corporate client wise, I'm hoping I pick up some new corporate clients as well, and we'll just have to see what happens. So.
That's amazing. Now, one of the platforms that you seem to be the most active on is LinkedIn. Is that a good place for people to find you?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. You can find me on LinkedIn, Deanna Leonard, MBA, I think is what my handle is. I am starting to ramp up a little bit on Instagram and Facebook, but LinkedIn is where the majority of my network is since I grew up in corporate. And it's amazing. Corporate folks aren't always going to post or respond to something, but they're going to pick up the phone and call you if something is intriguing to them. And I've had that happen more than once. So LinkedIn's a definite good place for me. I also teach AI on LinkedIn for Secret AI Society, Jenna Sword's program, which is all
Yeah.
about creativity and fabulous. So yeah, I'm a big LinkedIn proponent for sure.
Yeah. And I think what you post is just as interesting as, your experience that you have.
Well,
Like,
thank
I
you.
love the combination that you
Thank you.
show your creativity and, your expertise in business and in AI. So I think it's a really great example. And I want other people to make sure they go and see your profile, because I
Well,
think
thanks.
sometimes people don't know how much AI I should post or talk about, or
Right.
especially as entrepreneurs. Like, you're an expert in something, but you want people to also know that you have
Sure.
some AI skills.
Sure.
So I
Yeah,
love what you do.
Thank you. I have a couple of pillars and I'm always refining it. And I do a lot of deep dives on LinkedIn and their algorithm, which is always changing. And
Yes.
that's what I teach is, here are some of the things that are going on this quarter. But I have a couple of pillars and I have found that the best posts I have are those silly little AI chicks that dance every Monday morning.
And
When
I
I don't
love
post that,
them.
see,
I look for
people have that
them.
reaction and they say the same thing. So I keep thinking, oh, I need to be more professional and take those off. And I'm like, I can't get rid of them because they just go crazy every time. So they are
Yeah.
staying
And
on
they
Monday
attract
morning.
everyone. They
They do.
attract everyone.
They're just silly and they're fun. And I think it's 5 seconds. And I think it's a testament to how people are looking for some joy too. Like, let's start the week with a little joy because there's a lot of
Yes.
bad news out there. Let's do some fun stuff too. So
Yeah.
those will always be there on Monday mornings. And then I try to post 3 or 4 times a week about what's going on inside of AI and how to build your own brand and all that good stuff. So yeah.
So if you're looking to get a really good example of somebody that does LinkedIn really well, please go and check out Deanna's profile. Follow her. Reach out if you want to know more about AI and building your business.
Put your toes in the
Deanna,
water. Put your toes in
yeah,
the water.
put your toes in the water. And
And
I have to say, I have been following you on your LinkedIn and learning from you on your LinkedIn. So I appreciate that as well. And
oh,
I
thank you so much.
appreciate you coming here today and sharing with everybody. I think, especially as women, I want you to make sure you're going out there and learning some AI, and hopefully this has encouraged you and inspired you. So thank you so much, Deanna.
You're so welcome. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I will send you all those resources on a one page that you can share.
Awesome. And I will put that into the comments, both on the LinkedIn and on YouTube. So please remember to subscribe to my LinkedIn channel and to like and follow me on LinkedIn. So thank you so much, Deanna. And we'll see everyone next week in The Scene Live. Bye for now.